Winos, welcome to another episode of Vino in the City. It is your girl Mash Ramu, and today I am so excited to have my guest, Dr. Khanyile, otherwise I know her as Khanya. Thank you so much for being a guest on Vino in the City. Yeah. We're going to do Vino Light today, but it's fine because there's been innovation because of COVID-19. And remember when Cyril literally put the whole country on sober mode. So today we're going to have a de-alcoholized wine that we both haven't tried out. It's called Van Laveren.
I've heard of him. I have heard of him, yeah. But it's interesting. I'm interested to see what it tastes like.
Have you ever had de-alcoholized?
No.
Is it de-alcoholized?
De-alcoholized?
No.
I haven't.
Myself. So this one is a wonderful white. So also please, she cannot judge my wine palate on de-alcoholized wine.
I completely understand it.
So
I think it's actually I make like non-alcoholic wine that actually tastes like wine.
Yes.
But okay, it's fine.
Okay, so don't judge me because a lot of my guests really love my wine palette, the wines that I've made them taste. So, you know, when you're in the streets and they're like, oh, honey, I've been on university and video, and they ask you, how was the wine you had? Don't say it was terrible.
I will not say it was terrible.
my wine rate, okay. Tell everyone why you're not drinking wine.
So, I have a very, very strict personal trainer. His name is Watson. So anyone who follows me on social media knows that I always do like a lot of workouts with Watson. And so he's got me on a strict plan because December's coming and like a lot of big things are coming in 2021. So he's like, no alcohol, we're eating clean, we're sticking to a proper diet. And so I'm seeing him tomorrow, and if I drink any alcohol, he will know. Because my body will just, like I'm at that point in my life where my body just doesn't respond well when I drink. I remember in varsity, Thursday to Monday, we were in the streets. And then waking up and going to class at 8 a.m. we were there.
It's not the same no more. No.
Shall we?
We can. And as we toast or clink, I also want to say congratulations.
Thank you
for your engagement. And what's going to be your new surname?
Lenake. Well, Khanyile Lenake, but
okay, double barrel.
Yes, yeah.
Woman empowerment.
I'm a brand.
2020. Cheers. Let me know how it tastes. Everyone knows this, but you are a young medical doctor and you chose to specialize in pediatrics. Why is that?
For me, it's the resilience of kids. There's two things. So they are so resilient when it comes to how they bounce back from illness. And they also don't lie about their illness. So when they're sick, they show you on their face. We always talk about the appearance and the activity of a child. You can see them getting better in front of your eyes. And it happens over hours, which is so great for me as well because it's so rewarding.
Okay.
But I think the biggest thing for me is secondly the community health aspect of it. Community health is a very big deal for me because I feel like when I teach one mom about how to care for her child, because of the dynamics of our society, she teaches her other children, she takes care of her other children, but she also teaches the people in her community about that. She will be able to help them see what is right and what's wrong. And not to say that, you know, she needs to shout at them or, you know, condemn them for anything they're doing, but learning what is the good habits, bad habits, what danger signs, things that she needs to be aware of. And that just really helps take a load off my job because then the community is healthy.
Young people, when they think of medicine, they think of money. Right?
Yeah.
We spoke about this. They think of money. And they quickly want to get into private, you know, do what is bare minimum for public and then quickly move on to private. But it seems as though you are passionate about the disempowered mom and really empowering her and her family.
Definitely, because I think the way that I understand medicine, I try to explain it to myself as simply as possible. Because when it's simple for me to understand, I can then explain it to someone else. And when it's simple for them to understand, then my job is done. Then they're never going to have to come back to me for every little, I don't understand what's going on. This is, you know, should I bring my child? Should I bring my child? When a mom knows her child's like state, when she understands who her child is, when she understands their quirks, when they deviate from that path, they need help. And when they understand what help to provide, in their own capacity versus moving outside to having to come to a clinic or hospital. That's the really big important thing for me. So in private, I feel like there's a big dependence on I need to call the pediatrician, I need to call this person for help, and we lose that empowerment because moms just have that easy accessibility. That's great, and I think it's important that we do still get compensated for the work we do. We do still earn a living, but for me, I don't care about the money because what's the point of earning the money if the patients that I'm taking care of are dying or are feeling that they constantly need my input into their lives? I really can explain this to a mom and change communities with a conversation.
Yes.
One conversation can really change 4 or 5 children's lives, and that's for me where I want to make medicine easily accessible for people. Yeah.
You're someone on social media that's all about positive vibes.
Yeah.
Right. But also teaching. You know, I think there's a big aspect of coaching in you. Why is it important for people to really invest in their mental health?
Because at the end of the day, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I think it's all great and it's all well to have all these accolades to your name, to have all these academic achievements and all these titles. But then at the end of the day, who are you when all of that gets taken away? And I think lockdown brought that into the light for a lot of people. Because you can't go to work now either because your job gets taken away because, you know, there's no money to pay you, or you can't finish your degree because you can't physically be there. So it made a lot of people think, who am I outside of the stuff?
Everything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And so for me, like, at least with medicine, I will always be needed. But even if I had to stop being a doctor, I still want to make sure that even if you take away all the members of my family, even if you take away my person, even if you take away my job and my title, who am I at my core? Am I still going to be able to bounce back from all of that? And it always comes to the story of Job, because Job at his core was someone who believed in God. And the devil tried to play this game with him and took away everything, but he still remained so faithful. And he got it back. And it's not because he let that, you know, despair consume him, because it was a lot.
It was a lot.
But he still believed at the end of the day. Exactly. But he still believes at the end of the day that there is a God who is here for me.
Yes.
And for me, that's it. If I have God, I'm
that's
fine.
you.
And I actually realized I'm pretty entertaining myself. Like, I can keep myself busy for like a few days and I'll be fine.
Exactly. No, it's so important to be your own best friend. You know, there's a topic that, you know, and as much as we speak a lot about mental health, you know, one of the topics that isn't highlighted as much, you know, is feminine health.
Yeah.
And what is your perspective of feminine health, you know? And where are we in the conversation as women, even today, as a millennial woman, as a young person? Where are this conversation about feminine health and looking after yourself?
Too much of our feminine health is dictated by men. And what I mean by that is you're always hiding your period, or you're always running away from trying to like make your vagina smell nicer or yoni steaming. And I'm like, no man, your vagina has a smell and it's acidic for a reason. It's protective.
Yes.
And you can't want to change that to please another person.
So is it a good thing?
No, it's not. What? The acidity.
Yes.
Yes. So even with your staining of your underwear,
yes,
your vagina has to be that way because it's got to deal with a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
So there's normal bacteria and things that live there on your skin and in your vagina that if they get into your body or into your bloodstream, you could actually die from those.
Exactly.
So that acidity kills off bacteria. And even with a man, when he ejaculates in you, his sperm is a little bit alkaline because it allows for it to be protected when it swims through your reproductive tract to get to your egg to make you pregnant, right? So his body has done what it needs to do to beat your body's acidity.
Yes.
So why must we now go and like do all these other fancy things? Like, leave it alone, babes. If he has a problem with the smell or he has a problem with the taste, then maybe you need to go and chat to a doctor about it.
This is news.
If the doctor says you're fine, leave your vagina alone. And I think a lot of people don't know their smell. Like, I know my smell. I can tell you when I'm ovulating. I can see the consistency of
What
my
do you mean?
fluid.
Are there different smells throughout the month?
Yes.
What?
I can tell you after a heavy night of drinking.
Yes.
I will know, okay, here I'm off. Some women get thrush and then they think, oh my gosh, she gave me an STI. But no, it's just because, babes, you had a wild night 2 nights ago and you've thrown your flora off. When you're stressed, women get thrush. There are so many things like sexually transmitted infections that look a particular way and smell a particular way. And there's a difference between that
Yes.
and a normal bacterial vaginosis, which is just an off balance
Yes.
of your pH in your vagina. And now you're stressing because you're like, oh my gosh, my husband or my boyfriend thinks I'm cheating on him. But it's just because you're stressed because of work.
Exactly.
And so we're so dictated by this idea that we have to have clean, nice smelling, looking vaginas for men that we forget that it's always been this way and it's going to keep being that way for a reason.
Yes.
Because it's protecting us.
Exactly.
And so I always tell my people, I'm like, listen.
So wait, are you on the situation now? Well, yoni steaming.
No, lost for yoni steam. Like, listen,
No.
okay, listen. If your vagina has a smell that you're not used to, if it's a new smell, go check it out. But you know yourself. Like, I think inherently you know what you smell like. You know what you feel like. If that changes, go check it out. But if a man can't handle the smell and the taste, then he must grow up.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you know, also when it comes to like menstruation, right? I mean, the other day I was reading and I came across a cupping, right? And I'm like, what the hell is cups? Like, please explain. A lot of people don't know.
Fascinating invention. So basically, they've got these silicone cups. Some of them are silicone. There's different material that they make. But instead of you inserting a tampon that then gets full and you have to remove, or having a pad, you basically insert this cup, and it acts like a layer that collects all the menstrual fluid that comes out. Because it's not really blood, it's more fluid that's coming out and endothelial lining in your uterus. And then when you're ready, you go to the bathroom, you just pour it out, and then you rinse the cup with water, plain water, you put it back in. And it's so economical, it's safe, because the cup itself, the material that it's made from is antibacterial as well. And also, for someone who is very personal and you don't have access to throwing away things, because having a bin in the house, and you don't want to put your period things with your food,
with everything,
kitchen things. So it's really,
or even when you're visiting people.
Yes.
And you add a bra, you add something, and you have to change. You have to switch over your pad or whatever, or your tampon, and you don't know.
Yes, and also it also prevents that thing of spillage, because it just keeps it there. So even if it keeps coming, you will feel the discomfort, but it won't spill out.
Yes.
Because there's also different sizes, and they look at different flows and things like that. But because you're going to change it, you minimize the risk of infection, and also you minimize discomfort, because you then can say, okay, cool, I'm happy. A lot of people I know have used panty liners because they just want to be sure, and then eventually you just get over the panty liner because you're just like, oh, this thing's actually really, it works so well.
Have you tried it?
I haven't tried it personally, just because for me, I really enjoy using tampons, and I have the ability to change it quite frequently. But I have advised a lot of young girls that I've worked with, and there's so many companies. You can literally go online and Google menstrual cup, and there's so many different products that come up, and they're all really reliable. I just think that always have a backup, because when you're first trying it out, so that you can get used to it, because there's different sizes, there's different volumes that it can take and things like that, and also women are different, so you need to get used to that feeling of having it in there. But then it's gone.
Can you swim with it?
Yeah, you can, because don't forget, when your vagina's like a vacuum. So once you put it in there, it just kind of holds it in place, and all your muscles will go around the same way it keeps it tampon.
Yes. I read about it and I'm just like, where has this been all my life?
Can you imagine?
No. Is it?